because I am setting this at the time of Jane Austen, just to kind of get the shape of the story going, the skeleton of the story going. The moment one of our protagonists feels like they're falling in love for the first time, I just love the societal rules around it, how you have to be so discreet, like the challenges with that, and I really want to be part of making something like that that suits me and suits other queer women like me. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we are beginning to write my novel. We're going to go to a cafe to start off with just to do some free writing. I'm reading a book for some research, which I'll explain more once we're back, but it's really rainy right now. It's the perfect kind of atmosphere and I want to get there fast before it stops raining and gets all sunny, which I sound like a true vampire for saying that. But let's get going and we'll sit down and chat once I'm back. Okay, just before I go home, I was walking past, so I'm in this small town right now and it's really pretty. It's near where I live and there was this independent shop, so I walked in. There was all this like bookish stuff, like stickers, bookmarks, reusable like to-go cups and all the tumbler cups, whatever they're called, you know, all the things that like the TikTok bookish girls love to use, and I like them too. But I got, I went in there for a scented candle because I like to get soy candles or just stuff that's non-toxic for obvious reasons. So I got a candle. It's Autumn Hayride. And then I got caught up in the bookish stuff and got this little bookmark called, and it says Book Lover with a little tassel. So that's my little sidetrack excursion. And this is from Artist Expressions. So if you want one, there you go, on Instagram. But anyway, writing went really well. I'm going to continue it when I get home. I'm going to pull out my good old whiteboard to do some plotting. I'll catch you up once I'm home. But that was a really, really delightful writing morning. So let's go. Cheers. Okay, we're back. I have my regular water, sparkling water. I've eaten lunch, 10 out of 10. Posted a reel, trying to get that content up more. So today was fun. This morning was really fun. I kind of continued reading a bit more of the book I'm doing for research, which is Love and Marriage in the Time of Jane Austen. The cover looks like this. I just don't like keeping the dust jacket on, where I'm getting a lot of inspiration in research right now because I am setting this at the time of Jane Austen as kind of like paying an homage to those stories because I grew up loving them. So that's what I'm doing, and I've been taking lots of notes. Clearly I'm not that far, I'm only like a quarter way through, so lots more to go. I was just doing some free writing just with ideas and kind of getting it all down, and then I had a stack of sticky notes that I had written on just throughout life. If I ever had an idea, I would quickly write it down and save it for later, so I kind of went through those to kind of get re-inspired. And then I went on my Scrivener document and realized that I had actually done some free writing for this a few months back, which I totally forgot about. So I had kind of started the story already, the introduction to the characters, the moment one of the protagonists feels like they're falling in love for the first time, just really fun descriptive writing like that, and that was really fun to see, so it got me more excited. So now I'm back. I'm going to take my trusty whiteboard. I always like to plot on it just so I can visually see it all together. I don't like doing it digitally. I'll outline as much as I can physically. My overall plan for outlining is using the whiteboard right now, just get a general idea, but when I want to do detailed, that's when I'll pull out my cue cards. It's how I plot my TV shows, and I'll have it scene by scene, so I have scene cards. And I would like to do the same thing for this novel. It'll probably just be like posted on my wall, because it's gonna be so many more scenes, because it'll be a book, not a 11-minute, half-hour TV episode. I am teaching myself how to write a novel. I did not study this format, so I have books that I have been using. Let me show you actually. I have a bunch, but right now my go-to is Story Genius. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I personally am enjoying it because I'm not taking everything, but I'm taking some. So this is a huge one for me. Story Genius by Lisa Cron. I'm starting to read Bird by Anne. I can't remember her name, even though I can't find my copy. I have lost this book before, and it seems like I'm losing it again. I have a few other books on writing, but this is kind of like what I'm doing the most. And then I got this recently, which won't really come into play till I start drafting it, but it is The Emotional Thesaurus. But it was nice reading the writing I'd already done because it reminded me of the voice that I'm going into this with. It is kind of more witty, and that was really fun to reread and realize I have that in me, and that's what I want to move forward with. So yeah, it was a really good little writing session, but let's get the whiteboard out. So we're gonna figure it out. I just want to say that having a sibling who is a photographer comes in handy a lot, because most of this video has been filmed on my phone until this shot, because I put my SD card in my camera this morning and it just wasn't working. Like nothing would come up. I can't remember what it said, and then I put it in my computer and it said it wasn't working. Again, it said more than just it's not working, but apparently it just needed to be reformatted. All is well. I'm switching over to using my cue cards. I have done some brainstorming on my whiteboard, but I think I need to start actually plotting the story beats, and I think it'll be kind of like a blending of the two steps and doing them simultaneously. So I'm just gonna get some scenes down, who's gonna be there, what information needs to be shared within those scenes, so on and so forth, just to kind of get the shape of the story going, the skeleton of the story going. So I'm gonna start doing that and see where we go from there. So basically how I'm going to do this is on one side I'll have the characters go to wherever location, and then on the other side I'll have the description, a bit more detail as to who's involved, what information is going to be shared in that scene. But over here it'll be like they go to the ball, or this is a scene in the washroom of the ball, I don't know, you know, so on and so forth. But that's how I'm going to kind of do it with these cue cards. Brief little snack break, and I actually want to talk to you about why I'm writing this book. Also for my snack, these little tiny pretzel bites filled with peanut butter. For not allergic to peanuts, I recommend. So to give some context to this project, which I don't have a name for yet because I want to give it a name, project something. It won't be the actual name of the book because I have no idea what that is right now, but I'm gonna make a playlist. Like, this video is part of a new playlist, and they're all gonna be writing project whatever. I'll do that by the time I post this. But the reason I'm writing this book, it is, like I said, a sapphic romance inspired by Jane Austen in that kind of era. The reason why I'm writing it is because I grew up loving Jane Austen. My mom is a big fan, and I watched most of those movies growing up. I've only read a couple of the books, but I really want to get into them more now. Those love stories I've really enjoyed. Like, I love Downton Abbey. I love the BBC remake of Sense and Sensibility. I love it all, because romances of the time I loved as a kid. I just love the societal rules around it, how you have to be so discreet, like the challenges with that. And I think the dialogue has always been very poetic, which is funny because I don't sound poetic at all talking about it. But I really loved the writing within those novels, and even seeing it on screen. And there's so much subtlety in those love stories and build up. Like looking at Lizzie and Mr. Darcy, there's so much like subtlety and tension and build up, and I've just loved those about those stories. and how they're portrayed. And then growing up, I kind of stopped liking romance. Like, I never liked contemporary romance, just something about it I always didn't like, but these ones I really enjoyed. And then, you know, later in life, I, you know, came out, realized that I was queer, and, you know, I just didn't like contemporary romance because it was all heterosexual romances for the most part that I was consuming anyway. Realized that's not who I am and that's not what I want. Then started reading sapphic stories and contemporary romances, but sapphic, and realized, oh, I actually really do like this genre. I just wasn't reading the types of relationships I want to have. But then I'm like, maybe I liked the Jane Austen kind of era because there was all that secrecy and subtlety, and that's kind of, I guess, how I felt about some of my crushes growing up when they were women, was that there was like a secrecy to it because I wasn't out, or even to myself. I was in denial for so many years. I'm not explaining it very well. It's more so the whole experience of that journey for me, I remember more as a feeling than actually something I can viscerally explain, and why my relationship with the romance genre changed and evolved with my coming out journey and all that kind of stuff. And I really know that I would love to this day, and I would have loved as a kid, a Jane Austen inspired sapphic romance. I just love period romances. I love period pieces, and then to have a romance to represent what I want my romantic life to look like, how I love and everything, it just would have made my day, and it still does when I do see content and stories around that. And I really want to be part of making something like that, because I think in like my heart of hearts I would be, you know, like kind of healing a little part of myself from my childhood who just didn't quite see themselves represented in these love stories that I adored, but something was always off. And then, yeah, I don't think I'm explaining this eloquently enough, but again, all of this, the reasoning, I feel more as a feeling than something I can explain. But that is why I'm writing this story. In my NaNoWriMo video that I posted last week, I talked about how I was doing NaNoWriMo last year, and it was a fantasy novel I was writing, and when I reached the end of that writing challenge, I shelved it because I realized it wasn't what I needed to be writing at the time, and I wasn't personally connected. At that time of writing that, it was like 1 month since I had been fully like out of the closet, I guess. I didn't really do a big coming out. But anyway, and I shelved that, and I realized I needed to write this story because I was kind of fully embracing that side of me at that time, and now I live with it very comfortably, and I love that I'm queer. At the time, I was just starting the adventure of embracing it and realized I really needed to write about it and kind of pay an homage to the romances that I loved and recraft it in a way that suits me and suits other queer women like me, and just queer people in general who I think would appreciate it. I love reading queer stories even if it's not sapphic, and I still have like a greater appreciation for it, just seeing queer representation even if it's not in my version of queerness, if that makes sense. Hopefully one day I'll use it to get a literary agent. I would love to be traditionally published, and in that time then I will do all the revisions that are needed and are asked of me. But for the time being, I'm just writing it for me, and we're gonna see where it goes. And I'm enjoying it. But yeah, that's why I'm writing it, because it's a very important part of my life and my story. Creating the romance novel I've always wanted and kind of needed. So yeah, that's why I'm writing the book. And I just threw my pretzel bite. Anyway, let's get back to writing. cups. This is mine.
It didn't work for you because you don't know how to do it right.
See, you gotta cuddle up with me. Not for grabbing the glass.
She keeps putting her hand on the glass. She's being so manipulative. She's like, oh, I didn't even see this here.
And now we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. My friend and I didn't end up watching Harry Potter lore kind of videos. We ended up getting into Colleen Hoover somehow. And yeah, we just had a chill night. We're doing movie marathon, so we took a break from movies and just hung out. But we're on to Lord of the Rings next. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this journey to starting my novel. It is just the beginning. There's so many more of these videos to come because there's so much more work to do. But I'm genuinely so excited, and this was really fun to make this video, and documenting the whole process of how I'm trying to write this is really fun, and I appreciate you watching and hope that you enjoyed. So I'll see you very soon, and feel free to follow me on social media. In the meantime, I'm trying to post more reels and like short form kind of writing vlogs and book stuff, so feel free to keep up with me there. But in the meantime, I will see you very soon. I hope you take care, and see you next time.